Am I the bad guy for snapping at my aunt who said I wasn't a real doctor? Hello, I'm female, 35, and I am a plastic surgeon. I went through years of medical school and recently, but it was worth it. Originally started med school with the hopes of going into psychiatry, but surgery really interested me. The problem started years ago when I first told my family that I was going into plastic surgery, because it was what interests me most. My parents, siblings, and brother in law were all supportive, and whenever I felt like giving up, they were always there to push me. But a lot of my other family members were not supportive. My aunts always made snide comments about it, as well as my cousins, uncles, and grandparents on both sides. They were all happy when they knew I was in med school, but completely flipped when they found out I was pursuing plastic surgery. It annoyed me at first, but I learned to just move on from it. Recently, my cousin on my dad's side, who is the daughter of the aunt who keeps making comments about my job, done a PLC on nursing and childcare, which didn't bother me. I couldn't care less what she does, but my aunt thought I should know everything that's happened with her daughter. Every time I see her, she gossiping about how smart her daughter is and how amazing she is for doing a PLC, nursing, and childcare. But the last time I seen her, she said something that really annoyed me. Me and my sister were over at the house because she had some hand-me-downs to give to my nephew. We were all eating when she said, "It's great that she's going into medical school." She doesn't even have the brains for medical school. Maybe we can finally have a real doctor in the family. I just sat there in silence for a second, thinking, what the hell is she talking about? And then I looked at my sister, who looked equally as pissed off as me. I snapped back and said, her changing kicks solids pants doesn't make her a doctor, and her knowing how to clean a cut doesn't either. She's not in medical school, she's too dumb for that. She wouldn't even last a week before dropping out. My aunt looked really pissed off and yelled at me for being rude, and then she told me I wasn't much of a doctor either. I yelled back at her that I went through years of med school and residency, and that I am a licensed doctor and surgeon, and that she doesn't know what she's talking about. My aunt started crying and left the room, so me and my sister just left. A few hours later, I got a text from my cousin calling me a witch for what I said and attacking her mom. I get more texts from the other family members, and it somehow traveled to my mom's side of the family as well. Majority of them are telling me to apologize for yelling at my aunt, but my immediate family, mom, dad, brother, sister-in-law, girlfriend, are telling me not to. Now I'm being shunned by both sides of the family, and they're all refusing to talk to me and won't even let me tell my side of the story. So, was I a bad guy? Am I the bad guy for taking my disrespectful teen's side? My dear daughter, she's 15, is in a standoff with my mother-in-law. Didi is a member of a select choir that only has 3 concerts per year. Mother-in-law is retired but often makes excuses for missing important events, birthdays, holidays, etc. I used to validate these excuses when the kids were younger to soften the blow, but now that they are teens, I stopped trying to cover for her flankness and apparent indifference toward them. My thoughts is they wouldn't be as hurt if they know the situation and don't expect much from her. So end of the year concert is upon us, and mother-in-law already told Didi she would come, but now she'd backing out with some excuse about needing to take care of the yard. I told mother-in-law to tell Didi herself. I overheard Didi's sarcastic response, and it was something along the lines of, "Oh, don't be sorry. Getting stick out of the yard is far more important than my stupid concert. You stay right there and don't give me another thought. I won't bother asking you to come to my concerts at all in the future." Then Didi hangs up and turns off the phone. I'm actually relieved that Didi is less hurt than just pissed off and done. Now they want Didi to apologize for being disrespectful, but I won't hear of it. I believe respect goes both ways. Didi has a right to stand up for herself. And if this last trail incident further damages the already fragile relationship between mother-in-law Didi, so be it. An apology will be an admission of wrongdoing. And I don't believe she's in the wrong. So what do you think? I'm at the beggar for not paying for my stepdaughter's birthday dinner. My wife has 3 kids, 2 sons, 20 and 19, and a daughter, she's 16, from her previous marriage. Their father was an addict but is now clean. He doesn't have custody of daughter but does with it when he can. My stepsons and I aren't close, but they've been respectful to me at least. My stepdaughter, who I will call S, has not. She genuinely doesn't like me. She refused to talk to me. She doesn't want me attending her shows. She doesn't accept any gift I have given her, usually giving them away or tossing it in the trash. She doesn't listen to me if I'm the one enforcing rules when she's grounded. It has to be her mom who puts her foot down. Her birthday was last week. She had testing that day. My wife wanted her birthday to be extra special because she was turning 16 and had good grades. As wanted to go to an expensive restaurant with her family. I was not allowed to come according to her. But she wanted me to give her mom the money to pay for it. I told her I will not pay. She got upset and told me it was the least I could do and how she asked for little. But I stood my ground. Her mom took her to a less expensive restaurant. As is upset with me. Her granddad is also upset with me, telling me I shouldn't have paid and that it was her 16th birthday that I ruined. My wife is on my side and says there is no winning with her. I know how important becoming 16 is, and I feel bad for not getting her a gift at all. So, am I the bad guy about this? Am I the bad guy for never helping my older siblings out and letting my brother and his kids be homeless? My family is on a big divide about this, so I was hoping I could get an unbiased perspective. I'm the youngest of 4 siblings, by far. I'm 22 and my husband is 26. My siblings are 30 female, 32 male, 33 male. Between the 3 of them, they have a combined 14 children. They all have multiplied children. None of them went to college, and they all work lower paying entry-level jobs. I graduated last year. I studied college in high school, and I work as a nurse. My husband works on planes, but I don't want to say what he does specifically. Our household income is about $200K. And average where we live is about $80K, I think. This is all relevant. My parents like to host big family functions for every holiday, and they bring the whole family together. Ever since I was a teenage, my siblings have always asked me for favors, mostly to babysit. I did it for a while when I was around 16, but quickly realized they didn't appreciate anything. And there was nothing in it for me, so I stopped. For the past 6 years, I've had the don't ask me for anything stance, since my siblings are the type to ask for favors but never offer to help you need it. They always borrow money from our parents but never pay it back. My oldest brother is getting evicted and asked for him and his girlfriend and their 4 kids could stay with me and my husband. My husband and I own a 4-bed, 2-bath home. I told them no because they have a habit of settling in somewhere and not paying rent and refusing to leave. They also let their 4 kids absolutely destroy every rental they live in. Coloring on the walls, holes in the walls, and etc. My brother and his girlfriend are pissed at me, and they blew up at us at my mother's birthday party last week. They're going to have to stay at the shelter, and they're saying it's my fault. But I think it's their own lack of responsibility. My other two siblings chime in agreeing with my brother, and they think I'm a sicky bad guy. I think that's my siblings' fault, and I don't want my house getting turned out by their heathens. I know that if I let them move in, I would end up leaving the evict them, and they wouldn't pay for anything at all. I think it's not fair that they always ask me for money because I make more money than they do. And they treat my husband and I like we're some kind of upper class snobs because we work hard and make good choices in life to be able to buy a house early. So kind of update, I'm offering to pay for everyone to get vasectomy, tubes tied this Christmas and giving my brother enough money to cover the road roof in for a week. That's it. All I'm doing for anyone. And they better not call me ever because I'm not answering. So I'm not the bad guy for not helping my siblings, specifically my brother, I guess. I'm not the bad guy for not wanting my roommate to move out. Hello, I have lived with my roommate since last August. Our apartment is one bedroom, but we turned the living room into her bedroom by adding a Japanese-style divider for privacy. It's not perfect, but it works. I found the apartment for us last year, through a family member, and did everything with regards to setting up utilities, insurance, but I couldn't afford it on my own, and I offered her to be roommate since we are friends. I know she was looking for a place. Since I found the apartment, I have the bedroom. We split everything, rent, etc. 50-50. It's a 2-year lease, but with a clause that we can break the lease with 1 month notice. It's like this because it's through my family friends. But we agreed we'll probably stay for 2 years. Since living together, we have some issues of getting on each other's nerves, but that's just roommates. For example, I thought she would help me more, but I found myself setting up everything. I was out of town when our furniture arrived and came back the night before I was starting my new job, which is a work-from-home position, only to find she had friends come over to assemble all her furniture but not my desk. I was quite upset since I had to stay up to assemble it, but her argument was we never agreed that she's assembled my furniture. But I thought she had to do it out of courtesy since I found the place and did everything. But otherwise, she's been a good roommate, respectful and always on top of her chores. Until yesterday, when she announced that she wants to live alone, has found a place starting from August and will be moving out. I'm quite honestly completely taken aback and frankly pissed. We had agreed we'd live there for 2 years, not 1. I point this out, but she said that her circumstances had changed. She got a better job now and can afford a better place and would really like to live alone. She also brought up that she needs a proper door and privacy. But I don't see how this has been this much of an issue because I never come into her space without permission, and she doesn't even have a boyfriend or anyone to bring over. She offered to help me look for a new roommate, but I don't see how I could find anyone who will take over the living room and pay half the rent, so she kinda screwed me over there. I love this apartment, and I really don't want to leave. I kinda blew up on her over this because I'm just in shock. This is so sudden, and she's leaving me with particularly no option other than look for a cheaper place. She said that this isn't her responsibility, and that she's leaving, and that's it. I don't know what I'm supposed to do. I'm not the bad guy for ruining my wife's perfect life. 10 years ago, my wife brought home 4 rescue dogs against my wishes, and on the basis that they were temporary and will be rehomed. This never happened, and we had them until they died of old age. Shortly after the dogs, she decides she wanted horses. I was adamantly against this, but she continuously hustled me until I gave in on the proviso that she said she would rehome them if she had to. All of these animals have controlled every aspect of our life since we got them. A year later, we had to move to the other side of the country for my work. This was always the plan. By this stage, it became apparent that my wife had no intention of rehoming the animals. It was going to be difficult to live in the city with all of these animals, so I made the decision to buy a small farm so she could keep them. The farm was a lot of work for me. I had a long commute of work, was isolated from friends through distance, and my career progression options were limited due to location, but overall we were happy. My wife was living her dream life. She wasn't working, and days were spent riding horses, playing with dogs, and looking after our two toddlers. I was fortunate that my job was fairly flexible, so I had time to look after the farm. COVID happened, and I lost my crazy job. I had to take on 2 jobs to pay the bills mortgage. This meant that most of my spare time was spent looking after the farm, and I had limited time to play with the kids, which wasn't my favorite thing to do. I had become extremely stressed due to my workload and the uncertainty in my life. I constantly asked my wife for help with chores around the house, but rarely did I get the help I need. She either said she will do it and get to it days later of it all, or would straight up get shirty with me as she was relaxing after looking after the kids. Eventually, I became overwhelmed with all of this and had a mental breakdown of sorts. I was barely sleeping and was severely depressed and anxious. My wife finally saw what was going on and decided to sell the farm and move back into town. At the same time, 3 of the dogs died of old age within 6 months of each other, and we were left with only one. We sold the farm and moved into town. The wife's horses were moved to a friend's property, where they are today. My wife was very supportive throughout this period and gave up her dream life for me. I became distant and somewhat resentful of my wife, blaming her at times for everything that happened. Life was never the same. We lost a lot of money selling the farm in the COVID property dip, and buying a year later into the boom. Property is an insane obsession where I live. I was particularly hurt by the lies she told me to get these animals, which completely abandoned our life. My wife's mental health has subsequently gone downhill due to losing everything she lost and me being distant or resentful at times. So I'm not the bad guy for ruining my wife's perfect life. I'm not the bad guy for my reaction to my nephew's behavior on vacation. I recently went on vacation for a week with my husband, my sister, her husband, and their 2 kids, Emerson and Irwin. For vacation, we stayed at the waterfront my husband irritated last year after his father died. My husband loves his nephews. Up until last year, he ran a daycare and we plan on having kids soon. He loves kids and has treated my nephews since he met them 3 years ago. On the second day of the trip, we were looking to explore Lisbon and got up early. Emerson got up the earliest and used the bathroom first. Emerson also has a skincare routine. He used quite a few products, stuff like creams and facial masks. He said he started doing it after he asked his baseball coach for advice on how to impress girls. His baseball coach is a nice guy. He's 20. He is married to a guy who I'm close friend with. Emerson and his friends seems to view him very highly, a cool young teacher. I've talked to his coach and he says Emerson and the other boys often ask for advice. Irwin needs to use the bathroom to brush his teeth. Emerson was in there and doing his skincare routine. When he opened the door to let Irwin in, he made a comment about it being gay and called him zesty. which Emerson told us is Gen Z slang for gay or feminine boys. Emerson and Irvin kept arguing over this, with Emerson calling Irvin stupid, and Irvin kept using homophobic language and called his brother a gay, which then we separated the kids and let Emerson use the bathroom alone. My husband went to check on Emerson to see how he felt. He mentioned this was normal for Irvin, and that Irvin watched TikTokers who are also homophobic and sexist. My husband asked him if he was okay, and Emerson said he was fine, and mentioned that he's going on date with a girl soon, so his routine must be working. I asked my sister about it, and she said that kids will be kids, and said that Irvin didn't do anything too serious. She said Irvin wasn't homophobic, and that Irvin just had a dark sense of humor. She said that, I would love Emerson and Irvin no matter who they liked, or what they were. I asked her to make Irvin apologize to Emerson. She went up to him and asked him to, but Irvin said he's only telling the truth, and said I was being too emotional. After that, I told her if that Irvin doesn't apologize to Emerson, that they wouldn't be allowed to vacation with us again. After that, she tried making Irvin apologize, including bribing him with candy and promising to buy comic books and Pokemon, but he wouldn't budge. We eventually went out and spent the day in Lisbon. When we got home, we called our parents and told them about our day. My sister talked about what had happened, and they told me I should apologize for taking Emerson's side and making it seem like I had a favorite nephew. So, what do you think about it? Am I the bad guy?